How you doing? And welcome back to Taekwondo, bro. Today we're talking about stamina and sparring and why it's actually really important. And a lot of people kind of sleep on it, per se. They just don't pay that much attention to it. So let's go down for a little bit of a scenario here, right? You're sparring and, you're running out of air. The opponent keeps moving faster and faster and you just can't keep up. That's a bad situation to be in, because even if you have really good technique and you really know what you're doing, if you just don't have the energy to keep pace with whoever you're going up against, they're going to beat you. So you don't want to be there. Now, of course, they used to teach me in self-defense, most people, they don't have the skills or the pacing or the stamina, so they're probably not going to last very long, like maybe a minute tops, before they're just out of it, because they're not used to it. And, presumably, since you're training, you're way more acclimated to it in terms of fighting, so you'd be more prepared. But this is kind of more of a thing for in the dojo. Now, I'll tell a little story first. So a couple of times I was up against somebody who was just better than me. They had longer range, they could move farther, they could kick, stronger and faster, and they just had really good timing. And I really couldn't get past them, So I decided the best way for me to go about this was to put pressure on them. And I was going to stay close and just keep attacking. Now, I knew that I was going to be, taking more hits than I was giving them, because they had a better, repertoire than me. They were more experienced. But I knew that I had better cardio. So after about a minute of this, more closer range and faster paced kind of combat, they started to slow down. And it was at that point I knew, okay, this is my time. Now, obviously, we're not, killing each other. This is just sparring, but I just started moving really quick. I exploded, and they just couldn't keep up, and I was, peppering them. So that's the situation you don't want to be in, because if we both had equal cardio, there really wouldn't have been a way for me to win that so easily. So obviously, you don't want to be there. So let's talk about a couple different methods you can use to train. I'll talk about a couple you can do in class. Maybe you can suggest it to your instructor, or maybe you are an instructor and want to try this out, or maybe you practice with your friends. So I like to call this one the fight club. So it just kind of looks like what you think a fight club would look like. You have one person in the middle, and you have the ring of everybody else. So the person in the middle is the main person for this round. Obviously, you can do more rounds, but you're going to have people on the outside. Now, you're going to have a 1-minute sparring match with one person, and then they're going to switch out, but you're going to stay in the middle. And then you're going to go through 1 minute, and then you switch to the next person. And let's say you have 4 people. So you have 4 people on the outside, then you. That means you're going to spar 4 minutes, and they're going to fight you 1 minute each. You're going to have good cardio just to keep up with them, because they're going to be a fresh minute, you're going to be tired. And then after this, of course, you can rotate, you can put somebody else in the middle. It's a great sparring drill just to work on stamina and to work on adapting really quickly to different directions and whatnot. You can also do a king of the hill type thing. So say you have somebody, and I think Ramsey Dewey talked about this, you have someone who is just leagues ahead, like giant, or maybe you just want to have a tournament. So whoever wins a round, let's say it's point sparring, they get to the certain amount of points first, they win. You bring somebody else in to fight the old winner. Now, if the old winner wins again, they just continue fighting new people until whatever point you want to stop this drill at. And if they lose, whoever beats them then fights the next person. So you can stay in essentially as long as you keep winning. So obviously, if you're running out of stamina, the person's probably going to beat you. So, you're going to want to have good stamina for that. Those are good sparring drills. I mean, overall, just sparring in general, you get used to the cardio at some point. Just make sure to push yourself, Don't go, if you're a counter attacker, it might be a little bit harder for you because you're used to waiting. But sometimes, it pays to be a little more aggressive, even just for the cardio aspect of it. Now, let's say you want to train on your own to get more cardio. You're having cardio issues, keeping up with people, and you want to just spend some time at home working on it. So you have 2 real approaches here. You can do cardio exercises like running, jump ropes, swimming, bikes, jumping jacks, whatever things you want to do like that, which work cardio, but they don't really work martial arts. Or you can try doing a couple of martial arts type exercises, but do them in a cardio way so you get a little better. So I would say this would be spending time on the punching bag like I'm doing now in this video. You could also do some shadow boxing. So usually shadow boxing, it's kind of like you're imagining you're sparring, essentially. It helps if you're in a mirror too. I like to do it in front of a mirror. At this gym we have a huge one, so it's no problem, but you don't really need one. So you just practice throwing a couple combos, moving around, and you can also practice imaginary blocking too. And just do that, work on it. I prefer punching bag more because you can put power into it, but if you don't have one, that's also good. You could also go for the approach of just doing a whole bunch of techniques. So maybe you want to do like 100 roundhouse kicks in like this amount of time, and that will pace you and it'll be pretty hard. So the advantage of doing the martial arts type exercises is that at least you're working on the same motion that you would be in martial arts. It's not exactly the same, but it's pretty similar. When you're doing like running and cardio, like jumping jacks and stuff, that's great, but you're not using that motion. So maybe you're like super good at jumping jacks, but you have a problem when you try to apply that to martial arts. I mean, obviously it's going to help because it's cardio, You're just building up your endurance, but some people prefer to keep it like sports related for whatever they're doing. So it's whatever you want to do to work on cardio, but I would say it's super important to just pace yourself and kind of come up with a strategy for when you get tired or when your opponent gets tired, like I did in that one round. I decided to essentially, just take my punishment up front, tire them out, and then win. Someone who has really good cardio and maybe they're facing someone with less cardio, they might also just try to, right from the beginning, explode with intensity and hope that they can't match them. I mean, there's a lot of different strategies you can use. And if you don't have the same cardio as your opponent, maybe you want to adapt a bit more of a counter-attacking role. Maybe you want to just, whenever you see them move, you try to do something really simple, really quick, get them off their feet, and try to be energy efficient like that. But I mean, of course, you want your cardio to be as high as you can. You don't want to be like relying on strategies to compensate for it. So yeah, I would pretty much say that. I hear a lot of people talking about techniques and everything, and what type of are you a pressure fighter? Are you a counter fighter? Are you a close-in fighter? But a lot of people, you got to realize that you're only going to be able to do these techniques when you have the energy to do them, So, yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. I'm going to wrap it up now. So, thanks for coming along on this video and watching it. Let me know if you have any cardio stories or sparring stories or maybe cardio trainings that that I didn't talk about in the comments below. So maybe you have some cool drill or something that I can try to like improve my cardio, or maybe other people would like to know. That'd be pretty interesting to find out. There's tons of ways to train cardio, and overall, this is an important part of any athletic endeavor, including martial arts. So I hope you're the best. I hope you improve your cardio, and you never get gassed out by your opponent. Good luck out there, and I'll see you next time.